All right. Well, I'm with here this afternoon, the most gorgeous Deb Tawa. Now, Deb has always been in the motel industry. She owned her own business for, I think it was over 25 years, Deb.
About 25 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And anyone that's owned their own business would be able to relate to this, that you spend a lot of time and energy being everything. So wearing all the different hats. And often when you're not actually in the business or in the office, even when you're at home, it's really hard to turn off. And I think that you get to a certain point in your life where you did, Deb, where you kind of go, that's it. There's got to be something more than this. And it's only been a year or so since you sold the business. Is that right?
Even just over 8 months since we actually got out of the industry after 25 years.
Wow,
Yeah. And you
that's
live on site in a motel too, so you never really switch off because literally my front door is the back door of the office. So you never have any space, and the phone had to go with me everywhere. And yeah, and I did get to a point where I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore.
well, I'm glad you got to that point, because if you hadn't got to
Mm,
that point, I wouldn't have met you. And
correct.
that's one thing that I'm going to start this whole interview with is not only do we talk a lot about earning an income potential and stuff like that, but the people that you meet, the aligned humans that you meet in this community are like no other anywhere else. And
Correct.
I think
Yes.
I want to start that as the basis. So, Deb, like before this business, I want to know what your lifestyle, your life actually looked like. So not just financially, but how did it actually look?
Always busy. So we started in the motel industry in 2001. I was early 30s with two young children. And we didn't take over, we didn't start in a little motel. We started in a motel that was 34 units and had a conference room, and we had two kids. And back then you ran at 85% occupancy. So life was really busy, but it was really fun at that point because we were earning good money and we were traveling and we were doing things that we never thought we'd be able to do. Fabulous. And then we kind of expanded. In total, we ended up with three motels over the years, all at once at one point. Oh, and then we chucked a cafe in as well for my sister. So, I kind of start to twitch when I think about it now. And it was awesome. But then we got slammed with the GFC, and then we got slammed with another economic crisis, and then we got slammed with the bullshit of 2020. And all these things started to compound to the fact that yeah, I knew that we didn't want to be doing it forever, but we didn't have an exit strategy. It was sell it, and then what do we do? So I kind of found this business, and I was a really easy sell because my girlfriend had started. She didn't want to tell me about it, and I'm like, "Tell me what you're doing," and sold myself. I was signed up. I didn't even have the sales call really. I was just like, "You just tell me the money, and I'll just sign up. It'll be fine." So I saw the benefit, but I started for the wrong reason, which was really interesting. That's only kind of come about the realization of that now. I started because I was in a panic because I needed to earn more money to help pay the rent, which a lot of women start in that same position. But for me, it meant that I came at it from a place of scarcity rather than abundance, and it really had an impact. Um, Yeah, so that's why I got started. You've got questions, so I'll stop talking in between, otherwise I'll just tell you the whole story all in one go.
No, that's great. That's actually really interesting, what you said about why you started and how
Yeah,
coming in, I think you've been in for around about 5 years, but not actively building, have you, for those 5 years?
correct. No, because I was doing really well, and then I went to my first ever retreat, and then I kind of slammed into a brick wall of having not dealt with grief over my parents and grief over how the motel was stressing me, and so that then shifted my path, and I went down a path of healing and coping and learning a little bit more about myself and all that sort of stuff. And literally, by the end of getting out of the motel, I felt like I was on a ledge, hanging on with my fingernails, is kind of where it got to. So there was never enough space in my brain, probably. I'm very active up here. Didn't even know about things that kind of happened in the emotional point. Ugh. Uh, that when we got out and I've kind of managed to decompress, then I've been able to come back into the business, which is another really cool thing, is it doesn't ever go away. Like, you come back in where you left off, but just maybe a different human moving forward. So, yeah, it's
All
been a
right.
journey.
So you came across the business and you already kind of had like in the back of your mind, obviously, that you had no exit strategy and there was not much more after the hotels. So
Correct.
what was that actual moment? So like the question that I have written down is what made you decide in that moment there had to be another way and say yes to this particular business?
So I had actually tried network marketing for many times. I'd been in Nutrimedics when I was younger, and then I tried Amway, and then I tried Arbonne, and there's always been I've always been pretty entrepreneurial, but generally in what we would consider the traditional sense, buy another business, expand, get more responsibility, earn more income. So I kind of have done that, and then I realized with the Arbonne that I was working really hard for not much money, because the commissions were really low. And I was like, well, this is just dumb. I don't want to do this anymore. And I knew it had to go online rather than just being at home. And my girlfriend who got me into this business had got me into Arbonne. And so she kind of was like, nah, not doing it anymore. And I happened to come to the same decision at the same time without each other knowing it, and she had come across Jess Zellums online and made the decision. It felt very aligned for her to come into here. So I'm not your typical woman who uses all the emotion and goes, oh my gosh, there must be a better way. I'm kind of like, fuck, that looks really good. Let's have a go at that. And then I jump in and then I go, oh, now I have to work out how to do it. So that was kind of me. I never really had a line in the sand moment then.
Yeah.
That's probably come a lot later on. The more I've learned, and my line in the sand is now is that I don't ever want to go back to working in a traditional business where everything relies on me. And I would make a really shit employee now because I've worked for myself for 25 years. So I've kind of got these things, and now having done some of the healing work and stuff that I've done, I can see how much of an impact all that had on me. And I don't want other women to have to be stuck doing what they're doing when I've already gone before and I can show them how to not be doing the same thing.
Oh, that couldn't have been said any better. And I think mentioning Jess Salums, you are actually mentored
Yes.
by one of the top high figure earning women in
Mm-hmm.
this business, who also
Mm-hmm.
has raised an entire family, had babies, done all the things by building this
Yeah.
business. And
Yeah.
I think it's having women like that as well that you can look up to and go, well, if she's done it and she's done it, then obviously I can do it.
I can do it. Absolutely. Yeah. And
So,
I mean, that's another beautiful thing. When you own your own business, you don't have such thing as mentors unless you pay them
yeah.
to provide that service, right? So I have Jess as my direct mentor. She gains nothing from helping me,
Hmm.
not a thing. So she just wants to see me succeed, as she does all the women in her team. Whereas in business, literally, it becomes cutthroat, and you don't want to share what you're doing because the business down the road might do it better than you, and then you'll lose clients. And so it feels very different.
That you've probably just answered my next question by there
Well,
saying that it feels very
you
different.
sent them through to me, but I didn't read them.
Yeah.
So
So that last question is what has this business actually created for your life and for your family? You have two beautiful grown daughters and a
I
husband.
do. Yeah.
And what has this created for you? And what you just said before, I think has answered that question, but I can see there's more because I know
Oh,
you've
there is
just
more.
done all this inner work alongside all of this monstrous. You're such an incredible career businesswoman. So let's hear that answer from you as at the end here. Let's hear what you got to
Yeah.
say.
So I think within this business is it was sold to me as a way to make an income. That was it. Like I didn't understand how much depth there is actually in the business. So income and how that is going to change my family's life is starting to happen and is coming now. But for the last 3 years, honestly, if I hadn't have been introduced into Enagic, I wouldn't have met Adelina Vaughan, who does like healing work, and I wouldn't have met Chitanya and Steve, who I've just been on a weekend retreat that just blew my mind, freaked me out no end, and gave me so much joy, grief, pain, the whole spectrum of feelings. Because who the hell needs to feel when you're barreling through life running businesses? that was me. Whereas now I have come into this whole new space and I get to show other women now about you don't have to suffer or put up with this stress and not living and being disconnected from your body because you think that's how we have to do business.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so much more to this than just earning an income. And especially, I think, at my age, like when we hit our kind of 50s, our life turns upside down again.
Yeah.
And to be able to actually manage that and have more understanding and then have an open heart, but still have the business sense and be supported by people who don't gain anything, it's just so big. And that's really hard to convey, isn't it? When you are, I
Yeah.
don't know, when we're doing ads or whatever, or we're talking to people, you can't tell them everything about everything, because it's so huge.
It
There's
does
just so much to
encapsulate.
it.
It does encapsulate a lot of different spaces and a lot of different areas of your life. And
Yes,
I think even one of the main things for me as well is I wanted more than just enough for my family because it's always
absolutely.
like that's what I've had. But again,
Yeah,
once you start earning the money and then you start investing in coaches and things like that, you start realizing that, oh my God, there is a reason behind all this and the reason
yeah,
I think the way I think. And then you start
absolutely.
breaking these barriers, and that's when the abundance comes. And
Yeah,
I think we can see that in your face today. Like you are
thank
glowing,
you.
like
Yeah,
absolutely glowing. You look amazing. So
yeah, thank you.
for all the
And the
women
fun
out
is
here,
that you get to do this however you want to do it, right? Like I've sat on my couch in my workout gear today creating some content. I mean, how good is that? You know, and
Saturday
chatting
afternoon
to
and
you
we're having a
online
chat.
here, and yeah,
Exactly. Like
it's
it
yeah,
doesn't get better than this, I have to admit. The
no,
the way you can work it around your life,
yes,
phenomenal. The fact that you don't have to carry all that stress as a I've got young kids, um,
mm,
being able to do the school drop off and things like that. And one of the things that I
yeah,
always say is being able to do Pilates at lunchtime, not in
yeah.
the lunch break, just
But
if I can.
let's not make it sound like it's always easy because
Oh,
it's
no.
really simple, but
Yeah,
it's not always easy, right? So you
yeah,
have to put the work into it and you have to learn the skills to be able to do it.
yeah,
So there's no point kind of sitting here going, oh, yeah, we've got it all under control and we're just
yeah,
magically kind of like a unicorn earning all this money
yeah.
because we're not. We're putting the effort into it
Yeah,
and learning the skills to be able to do it. But
that's
you get
right.
to do it in a way that you choose, which feels good to do.
Yeah, and I think
Mm,
it's important to preface as well that we do have an online community where we have
mm,
automation. We're taught what to do and how to do it. We have
mm,
access to some amazing sale mentors across the world and things like that
yeah,
as well, where
mm,
you're not just given a business and gone, okay, off you go. So
mm,
you're able to talk to other people that are at the same position or you, or talk to other people that are 10 years in as well. And
yeah,
everybody kind of helps one another.
yeah. It's beautiful. Love it.
Deb, I'm pretty sure you've just answered my last question. So we're very in.
We're in sync.
So I'll read it out. Okay.
Okay.
And then we'll see what you have to say because I'm loving what you have to say. And I think anybody watching this is really going to be touched by it as well. So, for any women watching this who quietly want more, but they
Mm,
actually feel a little bit scared or doubtful, or they think that's Mel and Deb, but that could never be me, what
mm.
would you say to them?
This is going to sound really weird because last week I would never have said it like this. But you need to just kind of close your eyes, calm the fuck down, take some breaths, and feel whether it's a good fit for you. But then also on the other foot, you literally have to trust back yourself and trust that yes, this is the right thing, and I will learn it as I go. Don't wait for clarity to drop in or for it to be all the how worked out because you won't get there. I mean, it's like having faith and then you'll believe that it's going to work. So it is literally about backing yourself and taking a step, and also trusting the person that has introduced you to the business has got your best interest at heart and will walk beside you. Um, I think that's a really big thing is finding the right mentor for yourself. You want to hope that it is the person who's introduced you, but honestly, if it's not, there will be somebody who will support you and match your energy and walk beside you if that's what you need and want.
That's
So, Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. I could not have said that any better, Deb. Thank you.
You're
And what I'm
welcome.
actually going to do is there'll be a screen at the end of this, which will have Deb's social link as well as mine. We share all of our journey, all of the business, everything on social media. And if
Yeah.
you do think that you're at a positional point in your life where there does need to be a change, then reach out to either myself or Deb and we can introduce you and we can see if this business is a good fit for you.
Mm,
Like Deb said before, it's not just about seeing whether we think you would fit the business. You need to feel aligned with it as well. And I think that's really
mm.
important in this community. And yeah, thank you so much, Deb. Like, I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
What time is it there? It'd be 3, 4 in the
It
afternoon.
is 4 o'clock p.m.
So Deb and I
It's
are
nearly
actually,
it's
she's in New
nearly gin
Zealand,
o'clock.
Nelly
Just
Jim.
saying.
So Deb's in New Zealand and I'm actually in Queensland in Australia.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
that's again, you get to meet people all across the world. So, yeah, thanks again, Deb. And yeah, I'll
Welcome.
talk with you soon.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thanks.